Cosmic here, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a special match between Blue Bomber and the Zoldyck family. And normally when I upload these, I try to get a match that shows a great amount of back and forth, but this match ended up being such a strong showcase for the Bomber deck and its ability to really take advantage of the lower BP style of decks, like the purple Zoldyck family starting, some of the decks in Demon Slayer and other IPs that we'll see later, that I felt that this was just a very strong showcase for the deck and really what Bomber is able to do. So for that, I did include this gameplay footage for 2 turns in particular that just really steal away the game and really take the tempo, because again, this is a deck that can capitalize on some of those lower BP thresholds with being able to advance their board state and having some big swing turns. So that said, starting off on our earlier games here, just setting up our energy line, making sure that we're getting our Phantom Troop and Zoldyck family. So I did mention it's primarily a Zoldyck family list, but there are a couple Phantom Troop cards, and we've seen this quite a bit in a few different versions of purple Hunter that have come together. Some people like just going all Zoldyck or all Phantom Troop. Others really just like the hybrid approach, like we saw go 4 and 2 in Eggman's event. But ultimately, pick whichever one is your favorite playstyle to go with. So the thing I like about the Bomber deck as well is you have a lot of these Genthers that you want to play to the back line anyways, a lot of filtering, a lot of extra consistency by being able to manipulate the top of your deck, and having these set up early enough so that you can find those raids means you're able to have a big swing turn. Now, one really important piece for us here is that we were able to find the Bara early, which is a key staple in the deck itself by, again, pretty much turning on all your combos, which we'll see a little bit later, but then also just being able to filter for specific cards if you're trying to find that last raid target, or if you're trying to find that Paladin's necklace, which it didn't come up in this video. It's like one of the few combos that are left, and maybe I'll do a deep dive later, but Paladin's necklace can target your own card, so you can do a double Genthru turn. A little bit more limited, but just definitely something to be aware of, and just make sure that you know the wording of the card in particular, because it can come up. But generally speaking, Paladin's Necklace is just a great card for popping off the top card of your opponent's rated threat and then expanding out your turns and popping the card underneath it, or just forcing them to block with it so they don't lose a life. And so here's where we see Silva and Zeno come online, and this is actually a very scary turn from our opponent, and something I really want to capitalize on, that if we didn't have this perfect setup turn or something I want to stress, if we didn't have this perfect setup turn to have the Bara that we played earlier to make sure that we had the ability to go into our bigger plays, this is where we really start to see the strength of finding the Bara early and setting up the rest of the turns. Bisky is also a newer addition. I just wanted something else that was lower to the ground and could punch through for 4k damage. So Genthru is going to be able to remove the Silva here because we are able to shrink it by 1k with Bara's main deck effect. And then because we have 3 Bombers, we can use Release on the other card, the Grandpa, which would have killed our Genthru. Now he does still have 1 in the back line, which means yes, we are going to likely just lose our target here anyways, but it allows us to do this massive swing turn, get 3 damage in, still have blockers on board, and he does find the color trigger here as the 3rd one to get the card back and try to get some additional filtering. So the thing I really do like about the purple Hunter that I've talked about quite a bit is just getting all the access to filtering and drawing and having some really strong color triggers that you want to be pulling back from your graveyard as well, especially if you're running Shizuku. So here we do see a bit of promotion. Again, we do have to be on the front line to use that ability, but ultimately we don't want the Genthru to stick around because it is a 4k body that now can continue to apply some pressure against the purple deck. So here we're going to go into a rated Illumi. I love this card. The damage 2 just continues to be very, very strong. And especially, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, here's one of the combos that you can pull off with Illumi to make sure you're drawing the extra cards off of Grandpa, get the effect immediately, remove your opponent's key threat, and then also just helps you dig for something like a final trigger. So if our opponent here would have been able to capitalize on more of the, get a final trigger, restand, go into maybe like a 2nd raid here, it would have been able to apply a just equal amount of pressure right back at us to then put us on the back foot and us in a bad spot instead. However, we only see the Kikyo here as the other line to the back. The draws must not have been as key as we wanted. And here, it's really important to note that we are going to take 2 damage because we do want to find another Genthru. Because of our energy line being set up the way it is, we're able to raid and we would have been able to pop another character immediately. And then, of course, we can use Borrow's effect to then turn off his Illumi from being able to block efficiently if we're able to find more cards. So here's where we see the other key sequencing that I was talking about with the color Genthru trigger, which I'm not the biggest fan of, admittedly. It's a very meta call dependent card where if they see a lot of 3K and lower bodies, it's insanely strong, as you're going to find out on this turn, because we're able to use Borrow's effect, shrink the Illumi, and then immediately go into Raid Genthru to pop the Illumi as well. And again, massive swing turn for us here to get through some of that additional chip damage. Now, yes, I should have actually promoted here. This was a misplay on my part. So I did actually just miss lethal because the Bisky's a new addition. I forgot that gave me the 4 energy. So there wasn't a lot of double energy cards in this previously, but that just goes to show that how strong this deck can start punching. And really, again, 2 key turns I think are a really good case for where Bomber can be strong and definitely worth looking into blue Hunter in general. Kind of like purple hybrid, I think there is probably a blue hybrid list that works well here also, where you have the 0 gone and do some extra filtering just to help you find the raid targets. I've said for a long time I don't like sub all that much for his effect. Bara and Genthru is really all you need for your top end to make the most value out of those 2, but probably more experimentation needs to be done on that side. And so again, here we already have their opponent down to 1. They're going to be on the back foot. Even just having that Bara that we played early is getting so much value because we found it early enough. It's able to shrink something by 1K. If we find the risky dice, we can then make it a 4K as well, or pump our sub to 3K, which is also just a very good number against purple deck. And here, really quickly, we're just kind of having a conversation about there was a little bit of sequencing that should have happened here where it would have been the Illumi into the special, since they were going to play the Illumi anyways and then to draw the card. So I said, not a problem, just take it back. We're playing, this was a Monday night friendly tournament that we put together. So I'd rather have people, learn the sequencing, making sure they know what they need to look for in each deck. And then here we're just kind of deciding, again, do we probably just take the 2 damage? They're at 1 life. We are just looking for attackers. Any color trigger here is good. Any Genthru trigger here is good. Any special trigger here is good. Like, we are more than happy to take the damage on this swing because, and at this point, I think I had the Genthru, or 1 Genthru, 1 something else in hand to make sure that we had at least another point of damage cleared and wanted to swing through for lethal. So something to keep in mind is, in this board state, if we don't promote all the way up plus have a removal, there is a window where they could hit a final and survive another turn. So we have to sequence this out all the way just to make sure that we're able to clear through for the damage, remove 1 more blocker, and then play through to get the opportunity to not lose to a final out of our opponent's last life. So thankfully we had some zeros. We're doing some filtering here. Gone is going to find us some cards into the Bisky's training, and then because we have 4 energy, we actually just have another color trigger Genthru, which is going to be able to pop a 3K back to hand, and just again showing how strong this can be against those 3K bodies that want to be kind of more either sacrificed off or they die to some certain effect. Purple decks really do love this strategy, but we're able to just get through the attacks here, and this way he is forced to block, and then even if it is a final trigger, we're able to have that last attack there at the end. So again, just a really strong showcase of a couple turns in particular that I thought were worth mentioning. And here at the end, I have my updated list for all those that are interested. So thank you for watching. Hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, my friends, stay safe, stay hydrated, and see you in the next one.